Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's Commander's Shit Show. I mean, countdown. Oh, I'm
No.
sorry. Did I say that? Yeah. Sorry. It's a
Mm.
bad joke, but it's been a rough week for the organization as a whole. I'm not really sure which of these things I want to start with. I mean, the loss to the Vikings that we easily could have won. We got a lawsuit coming to the team.
It's not a lot of great stuff. I mean, I guess the lawsuit thing was announced today. So
yeah,
I guess
that is the newest thing. So yeah,
as far as recency, I mean, yeah, today it was announced that the Attorney General for Washington D.C. has filed a civil suit against the Commanders, team owner Daniel Snyder, and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell for allegedly colluding to deceive fans and district residents about the league's investigation into the team's toxic workplace culture and allegations of sexual assault in an effort to maintain a strong fan base and increase profits. So, yeah, I mean, the whole financial improprieties thing that we mentioned.
Yeah,
last week.
At first I wasn't sure if it was just Dan Snyder and the commissioner, but it's against the team itself as well. So like we were just talking about, hopefully that doesn't affect anything on the field. There'll be fines of some kind. There was something on this article I saw about $5,000 per lie that they can prove. I think they're going to try and get that much money for it.
Yeah, we've seen teams dock draft picks. Obviously, that would be, I think, worst case scenario. Obviously, that's happened in the past with various organizations. I think
right.
that
and with Dan
Patriots.
Snyder selling the team, possibly if there is something like that where it could affect the team, maybe if he's selling it, they wouldn't do the same kind of punishment that they would do. Like if there's a new owner.
Yeah, you would hope so anyway. I mean, I have this tweet that came out from Shefty, and he said NFL is said to be fully cooperating with the DC Attorney's General Office. The Attorney General's office has received more than 1.6 million pages of documents from the NFL. What the fuck?
Wow.
What the fuck, dude? What, like,
That's
1.6 million documents? Like, what the fuck is going on in that fucking behind
1.6 million separate fucking documents? Like,
what the
God.
fuck? No wonder this has taken so long to, like,
wow,
swim through the bullshit. It's like, Jesus, man. And this is all started with the John Gruden email situation. I mean, this is kind of like, I mean, hopefully, like, he can't get rid of that team fast enough, dude. I mean, hopefully,
that's
in the next
exactly.
coming
That's
weeks,
what I'm hoping.
we hear, that somebody else is running the show.
I think it's going to be probably by early next year, like like January, something like that. It's not going to happen anytime in the next month or two. I wouldn't think. I mean, anything's possible, but generally these kinds of transactions take some time, I would imagine, because he wants to get offers and try and get as much money as he can. I mean, try and get the full $7 billion or so that they think that they can get.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
About the lawsuit, though, there's a quote here from the Attorney General where he says that Snyder waged an interference campaign to cover up years of harassment and that the NFL let him do it, betraying fans' trust by enabling Snyder to have a say at the end of the investigation into him and the Commanders.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Attorney General Carl Racine, he also said the office was suing because this was another quote. Because you can't lie to DC residents in order to protect your image and profits and get away with it, no matter who you are, even if you're the National Football League. So sounds like they're not fucking around.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's nothing. You don't want to see things like this go into your team, but we've all known Dan Snyder's been terrible, and this kind of just backs that up even more. So the fact that the rumors of him selling, I would say, are almost 100% true now. I think it will be a full sale. I don't think it's going to be any minority owner stuff anymore. With all this going on, I think that's really the only that's why he's selling the team. Is because
I think he needs to wash his hands of it finally, because the man's finally in so much deep shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like so many cases. It was I think honestly, even like there were more cases, and I know not all by him directly, but it was 44 cases of sexual misconduct. So it's okay, it's more than Deshaun Watson has. Granted, this is like a franchise versus one man. I mean,
Deshaun Watson
26 for
lot.
one man's a lot. We're not saying that, but I mean, that's insane, dude. I mean, fuck. going back to
Yeah, and within
Bruce Allen days.
one organization with like probably multiple people, multiple women. It's not like Deshaun. He's one person. He was taking advantage of one situation. As misogynist.
Right.
But I guess you can see maybe how he racked up the numbers. But Jesus,
yeah,
like it's good though that this stuff's getting uncovered because all that shit needs to stop in the NFL. I mean, first it was Deshaun Watson, which oddly he's back playing, but
he'll be back soon.
Couple weeks,
3 more weeks, and then he'll be in there. So
yeah,
and But besides that, obviously, we had the passing of unfortunately Joe Gibbs' son, Coy Gibbs, former assistant coach on the Washington Redskins back in the day. Back when Joe Gibbs was a coach during his second tenure with the team in the late 2000s. And obviously another tragic situation. Definitely thoughts and prayers go out to Coach Gibbs and the family. Obviously, he's a very good religious man. So obviously, that's probably affecting the whole family very, very deeply. And, obviously hate to see that.
Yeah, I guess he had another son died actually in 2019. So he's had 2 sons die in the last few years. So
that's Andy Reid's had a couple of his kids. And then obviously Britt, his other son, was just sentenced to 3 years in prison for the so it's rough. I would think that if my dad was an NFL head coach, bud, I mean, you know how I am. I'm not the typical guy, but if my dad was an NFL head coach, I'd fucking, my life would be so great. First of all, I'd be like, well, you need to get me in, obviously. I need to fucking be, as soon as I turned 18, I'd be like,
it's like, work that nepotism. Come on, work it. Yeah, I know you can do it.
You need to work the NFL nepotism and get me in. I don't care if I start at the bottom, that's fine, but it's you need to work me in.
Yeah, any job, doesn't matter what it is. Just something on the coaching staff.
Exactly. Yep. And then
and we'll move into
Chase might return.
Okay, we can throw a positive in there. Yeah, that's a good idea. Throw a positive. I mean, I don't think it's going to be this week against the Eagles. I'd be pretty shocked. They did just start his 21-day window last week, so I think they're probably going to milk as much of that as they can, is my guess. So it's either going to be the following week or the week after, but our bye week.
You got to be careful with the man. I mean, especially even in practice, as the Niners have learned this week. I mean, we had 2 key players get injuries in practice, so I mean, don't rush the man back. I mean, if he's ready to go, obviously with the Monday night game, he's got 1 more day to be ready. Than if they would have been playing Sunday, but I mean, no need to go ahead and rush him back. Obviously, playing for the long haul, and he's going to be with the team for a long time. He's going to be a cornerstone of the team. So
yeah, I don't see him
even if he only plays
in
5 games this year. I mean, you're building for the future.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. If it's 5 games and he does well and doesn't get injured, totally cool with that. I'd rather them wait, longer than bring it back sooner.
I think he will. I mean, he went through this. Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I think he will. He went through the same doctor that had that Bosa got his ACL surgery, and
nice.
See what Bosa's
been great. Hell yeah!
So,
well, that's encouraging. That is great news.
Put some animanthium in that ACL. Let's get it.
All right, and the final piece of bad news this week, there was one slightly positive. The game against the Vikings that we were up 17-7 at one point and looked like we were going to have it, and managed to lose at the very end of the game, 20-17. So that was disappointing. I didn't expect to win this game going into it, if I'm being perfectly honest. They were 6-1. So to see it come down to that close, I'm happy about that. But to lose it the way we did after being up by 10, we're not usually up by points like that by a large amount. So when I see that, I'm like, oh, I think we might have this one. But
and the defense was holding Minnesota pretty well in check for most of the game. I mean, for the longest time, they only had 7 points. So the defense has continued for the last several weeks to play better. I mean, obviously they allowed 13 points in the fourth quarter, but as we've talked about before, aided by penalties were the Vikings at various key points.
The penalties is what really lost us the game, is I would say.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk had a pretty mediocre day. He was just above 50%. I mean, 22 of 40, 265, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, sacked twice. He played his best football in the fourth quarter. Taylor, also pretty average. 15 of 28, 149, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, sacked 3 times. So, I mean, they both threw 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. I mean, it's just Taylor obviously was doing his work earlier in the game, and then Kirk leading the comeback a little later. Yeah. Did you see that ridiculous posting by Kirk Cousins with the chains on his neck?
Yes.
Most ridiculous fucking thing I've seen. Like celebrating on the team playing. I was like, and then there's this meme that I saw that's like Kirk Cousins went from I'll have her home by 9 to she calls me daddy too. And I was like, oh shit, all right. So that was a pretty good meme, but yeah, fucking Kirk Cousins, dude.
Barely wins a game that come on. Ugh.
7-1. Nothing, I mean, they're
nothing to. That's not a win to necessarily celebrate that heavily, though. It's come on, guys.
Yeah, I know that you guys struggled against, although Washington is on the upswing. I mean, you hope that they obviously play a better game. It's really going to depend on how Taylor plays is really what it's going to depend on, because and he's giving us, it seems, more opportunities than Wentz in ways, but I'm getting the feeling that after last week, unless he does extremely well against the Eagles, which would be fantastic, I think Carson's probably going to be coming back to finish out the season. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to say. I mean, I don't know if Ron's addressed it lately, but he hasn't really had to.
I don't think so.
I know, Carson's he was given that 4 to 6 week timetable anyway, so
right.
Yeah, it's hard to know what's going to end up happening there. But yeah, I mean, he's had a couple good games and a couple not so good games. Obviously, this game was one of his not as good performances. The running backs, they didn't, nobody had too crazy of a game. I mean, Robinson had 13 carries, 44 yards. Gibson had 11 carries for 36. Amari Rogers had the big run of the day with a 24-yard trick play. Taylor had 17 yards rushing. Curtis Samuel had a 16-yard run. So they ran for 137 on 30 attempts, which was a lot better than the Vikings did. I mean, the Vikings had 22 carries for 56 yards. So, I mean, you guys stopped.
We really shut down Dalvin Cook most of that game. Pretty much the entire game. Yeah, which was shocking. I expected him to start gashing us, but defense didn't hold up there.
Dalvin Cook's a top 5 back in the NFL for sure, and I mean, you guys really held him in check. So that was impressive.
It didn't help though that we couldn't hold any of the receivers in check, especially Justin Jefferson and then T.J. Hawkinson, tight end, and Adam Thielen. He had 3 for 67. Yeah, it's the fact he had 67 makes those 3 almost as important as the other 2. So those 3 guys really, I mean, the top 2 mainly. Just we could not get them covered.
Yeah, and then I mean on the other side of it, Curtis Samuel was the top receiver for you guys. He had 3 for 65, which great average. He had a touchdown too. Terry had 5 for 56 on 9 targets, and then Cam Sims had 1 for 12. Gibson 2 for 11. Dax Milne caught a touchdown, so his first of the season. And Logan Thomas for the second straight game was targeted but didn't make a catch. So obviously we know he's not 100%. He's going through some stuff, but he continues to be kind of a non-factor in the passing game. One thing I will mention is they've played the last 5 games without Jahan Dotson. He has been practicing this week and has a chance to come back against the Eagles. So we could see Jahan Dotson for the first time since week 4, which would be great, because obviously he has 4 touchdowns on the season already. I mean, it seemed like he was going off every week that he was playing. Really doing some great things.
To have him back out there with Terry and Curtis, that'll be great.
Exactly, and having 3 of them, that's really the factor. I mean, they've had Terry and Curtis, but I mean, in 3 receiver sets, they've either got Cam Sims or Dax Milne out there.
Right.
So I mean, obviously, you get Jahan Dotson out there, you're a lot more dynamic, and especially if they can get Logan Thomas right, because obviously he hasn't been.
Yeah, that's been puzzling. He's out there and he hasn't really been doing anything.
Credit to Armani Rogers though, stepping up. I mean, obviously he's been solid.
Is it Amari
And,
Rogers or I always
Armani,
forget.
like
Is it
the
Armani?
bag, like an Armani bag or an Armani pair.
Oh, it
I
is
don't even know.
Armani Rogers. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And as far as the defense, Deron Payne and Benjamin St. Juste got a sack. Washington had 2 sacks on the day. Deron Payne, I believe, has 5.5 now. Yeah, 5.5. So he leads the team. So really, really glad they didn't trade him away. Cam Curl led the team with 11 tackles. Obviously, they were playing without Cole Holcomb in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And, Bostic and Jamin Davis kind of filling in. They both had 5 tackles apiece. And I think there was no Mayo either, right? So it was just Bostic and Davis. But Jamin Davis has been coming along. He's had some pretty decent games. I mean, he's
he is starting to look better for sure.
The bus talk, which everybody had about him.
Yeah, he is looking a lot better.
Some players just take a few years, man. I mean, they're not all great season one. Some guys take some developing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess moving on from that, obviously 4-5 right now. Got the Eagles, who are 8-0. Big chance to beat them. I mean, I will mention 2019 when an 11-0 Pittsburgh team
that was a good day.
came into Washington, and the team led by Alexander Douglas Smith.
Is that really his middle name?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Of course it is. Yeah. Let me look up the exact score. I
It was
can't
low
believe I don't
scoring, I
remember.
believe, because we had that goal line stop. We stopped them on like 4th and 1 or something at the goal line.
Was that the game that I picked like the exact score or like was off by 1 point? It's like I think it was like 20-24. Let's see.
I thought it was lower than that. It would have been 2020, I think. It was 2 seasons ago, I think.
Okay, yeah. No, it was that's right. It was 2020. It was 23-17.
23-17, yeah.
Okay. So and then I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so it was
What was that,
23-17 because I think we stopped them. That was when we stopped them at the goal line
Yeah, the goal line
to
stop.
save the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, teams have come in with the undefeated streak before. Pittsburgh was 11-0 coming into that game. And Alex Smith, 31 of 46, 296 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. And on the game where they only ran for 45 yards, your leading rusher was Peyton Barber with 23 yards.
Wow. That's not good.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah,
all right. Well, I
this
think that's about everything for this week.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, hopefully you can beat the Eagles. Obviously, the upsets happened
Hopefully.
before. The Eagles have one of the easiest schedules in football, so obviously they haven't beaten a lot of great teams to get to that 8-0 mark. So
Yeah.
I think they're definitely beatable.
We'll see. I'm crossing my fingers. We need it. It'd be nice to be the team to take them down.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened before within 2 seasons. I thought it was 3 seasons ago, but it was even more recent. So hell yeah,
Yeah.
it's time to knock off the Eagles. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Die, Eagles, die. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big rivalry week. Hopefully, you guys can hold Jalen Hurts in check. Obviously, spy the shit out of him. Make sure that he doesn't run that crazy read option. But yeah, I mean, just got to hold the Eagles in check on that rushing game, and then hope that St. Juste continues to play well at corner, because he's been playing well.
Yeah, and Jamin Davis, they're both looking good.
Yeah. So there's been some positive things to talk about. It's not all been bad, but like and subscribe for weekly Washington content. We will be here next week talking about the Eagles game and the outcome, regardless of how that goes. But have a great night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us.